It's just about that time of year. Indiana tax sale overages season starts now. Now, my favorite time of year is just around the corner because it is the end of last year's tax sale season that's upon us right now. And that means one thing: lots of overages. Now, in 2011, Indiana counties collected more overages at their tax sales than they have in years. And I'm coming up with over $67 million worth taken in at the sale. And a good deal of that amount is going to be ready for us to recover starting as early as August this year. So let's go over how this works, because it's kind of a unique situation. Indiana is a tax lien state, and it's one of the few tax lien states that actually has a competitive bidding system where the liens are bid up in price. So tax sales held each fall in every county, and bidders bid up each lien until a winner is finally determined. At that point, the property owner has exactly 1 year from the date of the sale to redeem that property by paying the taxes and additional interest that he now owes to the tax sale buyer. Let's go over a quick example, because this is one of only 2 or 3 states that work like this. Let's say a $50,000 property goes to a tax sale with $5,000 in taxes owed, and it wouldn't be unreasonable for a bidder to come along and pay $40,000 for that tax lien against the property. Now, this creates a $35,000 overage, and we call that a surplus in Indiana, actually. So the waiting game begins. The owner's got exactly 1 year to pay that $5,000 in taxes, plus now interest and penalties to that tax sale buyer. And if the owner takes it that whole year, that redemption amount could be more than $10,000 in this example, so it can grow quite a bit. Now, if the lien's redeemed, the owner pays it in time, the surplus is returned to the tax sale buyer. It's over. If the lien's not redeemed, the owner of the property at the time the tax deed is issued to the tax sale buyer is entitled to collect that surplus. Here's a typical timeline. Tax sale is held, and 1 year passes. At that point, the deadline to redeem is over. The owner cannot redeem anymore. And then it takes 1 to 3 months for the county to get around to issuing a tax deed to the tax sale buyer. At that point, the former owner's out of luck, except the surplus is now available to him if there is one. So, using actual dates, a typical situation from last year would be, let's say a tax sale was held September 10th, 2011, and the year for that to be redeemed would be coming up this year, September 10th, 2012, and probably sometime by the end of 2012, that tax deed would be issued to the tax sale buyer if it wasn't redeemed, and then that surplus would become available to the owner. Now, last fall, like I said, over $67 million in surplus was collected, and that 1 year period is going to be ending for all of those sales that happened last fall. So throughout this fall, all those millions in surplus are going to be on hand, ready for owners to collect. Not the entire $67 million, but a good amount of it for the properties that didn't redeem. And then by the end of fall, or maybe next winter, depending on how long it takes the county, that surplus will be available to collect. So why Indiana, and why right now? Well, not just because I live here. First reason is counties collected a huge amount of overages last year, more than they have in quite some time. Alright, and tax sales take place in the fall, so overages from the 2011 sales start becoming available this August and September, all the way through the end of the year. Now, another reason we want to get involved right now is recently the state enacted a 10% finder fee limit for all tax sale overages, and believe it or not, it's the best thing that's ever happened to us in Indiana. And stay tuned, I'll explain why that is. Another reason we want to do Indiana right now is the overage amounts are known in advance. We have actual numbers from last year's sale, so we know what the actual overage amount is on every property, if any. Also, if we get started now, we can acquire and resell some properties before we even get to the overage stage if we want to get started immediately. And yes, because I live here, I've been doing these deals for almost 10 years, and you name it, I have probably seen it. So let's go over each one of those items a little bit more. Now again, $67 million in overages were received in 2011, and yes, only a fraction of these overages will be left on hand because most properties will be redeemed and that surplus will be returned to the tax sale buyer. But even if only 10% of that surplus remains on hand, there's a huge amount left, $6.4 million on hand, that we can collect throughout the rest of the state. So how does last year's haul of surplus compare with previous years? Well, as you can see, 2011 had the most surplus received in at least 3 years, and add in that 13 million that we find in Indianapolis alone. That's not included in those figures above, and it's truly a staggering amount. Now check it out. I actually made a list for you from 2009, 2010, and 2011 that breaks down the amount of surplus each county got, and you can actually grab the download right now. So go check that out and pick it up now. Now, the funds are available soon. That's another reason why we want to get involved now. Now, once a year passes, the owner can't redeem anymore, so those surplus funds are locked in exactly 1 year after the sale. Okay. Now, 2011 sales occurred in the fall, so funds will be locked in around August to November this year. And as you'll see soon, we only have a few months to act. And why is that? Well, because of that 10% finder fee law. Now, like I said, Indiana recently enacted a 10% finder fee limit on all tax sale overages starting the moment they're available for collection. Now, is that terrible news? Not on your life. The competition's almost completely disappeared because of that law. But I found a way to restructure our deals so they're not covered by the law at all. But the loophole that we found, it's only available for a few months each year, and the clock's already ticking now. Now, you want real estate too? If you do, you could start picking up properties right now for pennies on the dollar while you get ready for our loophole period to begin for us to collect those overages. Any way you approach it, I've seen just about every real estate and overage situation in Indiana, and I'll be here to help when you join me for the 3rd annual Indiana Inside Track training. We're going to start that enrollment on Thursday, May 24th of this year, 2012. And when you enroll, you're going to get everything you need to get going right away. You're going to get a calendar of all of last year's tax sale dates and stats, including the total surplus collected, so you know which counties to really pursue. You're going to get the exact public record information requests that we use and that you'll need to get your records easily. You're going to get instructions how to find a lot of counties' data online immediately and for free. You're going to get a line-by-line explanation of what's called the Indiana 137 form, and that's going to be part of your public records request. And that's going to show you which properties have surplus and how much. Now, of course, you're going to learn what to say to the owner of a property and when, and you're going to get all the paperwork that I use in my own business to sign up clients, and this is going to be mostly all new for 2012. Now, this is a rare training where I actually give out my personal email address for questions and try to respond within 24 hours. So you'll have that going for you. And new for 2012, we are going to cover how to get started now acquiring properties before the redemption deadline and what you can do with those to make big profits. There's several different things you can do. And there's a whole lot more. We're going to announce that all on Thursday. So got some good stuff coming up for you this week in the meantime. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we're going to find out how to get the amount of surplus each county in Indiana has on hand instantly online. And I'm going to show you a $13 million surplus list that's updated daily, also online. And then Wednesday is going to be really great. We have a before and after video call with John Fox. Now, you may know John Fox. He's one of our best and most productive members in both Hooked on Overages and the Indiana Inside Track training. In this call, we're going to go over how John built his overages business from scratch. You can do a lot of the same things he did and get your own overages business really cranking. And we're going to see how he did with the Indiana overages from last year that he was starting, which he discussed on the call. And Thursday's go time. That is when we are going to open the doors up, and I'm going to go into detail about what the loophole is, how it works, how it allows us to continue to profit from overages in Indiana despite that new law, and again, we will begin accepting enrollment. Training will start first week of June. And I think it's time for you to start receiving some of these fat Indiana checks that we like to get each year. And here are some from recent past that have come in right here from Indiana. So pay attention to your email because you're going to be getting some of these other goodies in the next few days. And then I hope to see you in the training. This is truly one of your best opportunities that we have all year to get involved and start getting some checks in fast.